Listen, at this point, we're not talking mindset shift, we're talking identity shift. You need to understand that most people suffer with multiple identity, including yourself, including myself. All the troubles that we're having and all the issues that we're having are being produced at one part of your identity, probably from the past or from version of you that you are feeding with your thoughts, with your behaviors. So it's not about shifting your mind as such, but it's understanding that your inner world consists of different identities. And those identities can be manipulated unless you become conscious about them. So you have the identity, your survival identity, that has learned to think in a particular way, to feel in a particular way, where you have all these roles and your jobs and your friendships, whatever. And your issues and problems come from that part of your identity, right? From the society, because that identity, as I said, is very easily manipulated by the media, by the society, by your friends. And the narrative, the outside narrative, is manipulating you, is deceiving you that you're weak, it's difficult, you can't do it, you have anxiety or you have depression and all of that. So when it comes to mental health, that's a big, big part of the problem, the narrative, okay? Because the system only exists because all those identities, the lower identities, are being fed into us, and the lower problems are being fed into us. No one is actually teaching you that you're strong, resilient, that you can overcome anything, right? You're being distracted from your strength. You're being distracted from who you truly are. And it's about you shifting into the identity that is capable, that has dreams and aspirations and goals. And they can be very different. Sometimes it's about being a good father, being a good mother, having peace, or whatever. I'm not talking big goals. At this point, we are so hijacked into fear, right? So the lower identity, the survival identity, is being hijacked into fear. So you're being manipulated by fear, by the all this emotion. And when you are in your fear identity, fearful identity, let's call it, then you are very easily manipulated. Therefore, your nervous system is going to look for ways to soothe yourself with distraction, with so-called pleasure, entertainment, endless entertainment, right? And obviously, this is what you're being exposed to. They're trying to hijack your nervous system and hijack your attention, right? That's why you have the clickbait. That's why you've got the thumbnails on YouTube and all of these things. So it's about you shifting your identity into the identity that is aware and expanding your consciousness so that you can pay attention to things that deceive you into feeling weak and small. That's the game now. No amount of mindset work or any sort of outside work can undo it. Only you can tap into your nervous system, which is hijacked, as I said, at this point, and get really clear as to how your anxiety is being played, because they're tapping into very, very old system. Like, this is evolutionary stuff, right? And when it comes to depression, your nervous system is hijacked into despair and helplessness and hopelessness, right? So the narrative is very strong. And, if you think, oh, I'm not traumatized, I don't have any trauma. I think if you watch the news today or any stuff on the internet, anything really, you can get traumatized. Your nervous system can get traumatized. If you cannot, then you're either fooling yourself, which deception is a thing. You can deceive yourself into thinking, no, I'm fine, I don't need anything else. right? And this is how you weaken yourself, and this is how you feed your fearful identity, your helpless, hopeless. Oh, it's not up to me, it doesn't matter what I do, right? So people are being told that they have no power. That's another thing, right? Of course, you don't have the power to change the world, but you have the power to change your world. And you're being told that there is no solution. And you're being caught up in the narrative, whether you're on the left or on the right, it's all the same thing. You're just feeding yourself with stuff that keeps you stuck, right? So think about what kind of identity you want to cultivate, what kind of spirit and soul you are, and what are you about? Because no one is going to come and tell you this. And if you don't do it, other ideas will be put into your mind, because your mind is entry door to you. It's like an entry door, which is wide open. Every time you read something, every time you watch something, everything has an agenda. Underlying agenda is the same, is to keep you enslaved with your attention. That's why we say paying attention, because it's a currency now. So think about identity, what kind of identity you want to feed and cultivate in yourself. And it all comes down to nervous system work, but you need a decision. Sometimes you need 5 minutes to decide. You don't need a long time. It's not difficult. Stop thinking that it's difficult or it's hard. What you're doing is harder. Living in this identity which feels helpless and hopeless and in despair, like everything is falling apart around you, it's a lot harder than actually taking responsibility for yourself and showing up for yourself in small little ways every day. Never give up on yourself.